Coming to you from my current location on the hot and humid southern shore of Lake Erie, I'm Bob Rubart with the Oracle Groundbreakers team. And my guest this morning is Oracle ACE Director and Groundbreaker Ambassador Brendan Tierney. Brendan, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Bob.
Now, you are one of more than 60 Oracle ACE program members and more than 100 professionals who are taking part in the Oracle Groundbreakers Yatra 2020 event. This, for reasons that don't need to be explained, is a virtual event this year as opposed to the tour it has been in the past. But before we talk about your participation in that, tell us a little bit about where you work and the kind of work you do there.
Yeah, so I'm based in Dublin, Ireland. It's kind of the easiest way to describe it, Dublin. So I live kind of just outside of Dublin. So the day job it consists of a kind of a variety of different things, but the easiest way to describe it is like I'm a developer. I kind of develop applications, develop solutions for organizations, but primarily most of the focus of that over, since my very first project out of university has been involving analytics and kind of, what we call now is machine learning, but it wasn't called machine learning when I started kind of doing it. So like that was a long, long time ago. So it's about developing all of those and then, doing training and mentoring for organizations and kind of also some teaching in a university as well.
So what was your session? You had the one session, I think it was just this past Tuesday. What did your session focus on?
Yeah, so the session was about some of the new features in 19C and 20C database. So what are the new machine learning features and algorithms? But I also kind of brought in a few little here's a few little benefits to you. So here's a few little settings. If you can actually use that, you can significantly speed up your machine learning algorithms, making them run quicker, but it also will help them to be a lot more accurate in their predictions and being able to build that up. So there's kind of an underlying theme of that. And because of the machine learning features in the databases, they're now free. So since last December, end of November, they're now free. So this is something that everyone can go and use. Right? So, part of the messaging and what I try to show in the presentation is that, well, to a certain extent is that, to be able to do this, it's really simple to do. The type of coding you have to do is really boring. So because it's so simple, which means everyone can go and do it. So no matter what your skill set is. And if you can do that, then what you can do is like, large part of my roles of being a developer is you're trying to bring value to your employer, to your organization, to the projects that you're on or that you're working on. So by utilizing lots of different ways of analyzing data, being able to present data, you're bringing that value. So you can concentrate on that and not necessarily have to worry about, what's the formula for whatever it might be. So like all the statistics and the formulas behind a lot of the machine learning, because in a lot of cases is you don't necessarily need to know all of those. I know you get to see lots of presentations on machine learning and you'll see pages or slides upon slides upon slides of complex formulas. And in ways, you don't necessarily need to know and understand all of those. What you want to do is understand what it's trying to do. So like if you take, I'm sure you would have done some classes on statistics and standard deviation and mean mode and whatever else, and you would have seen formulas for those, and maybe as part of your undergrad or your additional education, and you never actually apply those in your day job. What you have is you have functions. People have gone and coded that up for you. They've optimized the ideal way of doing it. So it's just like with the machine learning is that people have gone and coded up libraries and packages for us, and with the Oracle database, like they have been embedded in the database. And if we think about it, is that the first machine learning algorithms appeared in the Oracle database back in 2001. That's 19 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Which that's a long time in the IT world. So
indeed.
Yeah.
So, in your estimation, what are one or two of the most important of these new machine learning features in the Oracle database?
So one of the features that has gotten a lot of attention over the last few years, so it's still quite a young algorithm. It's called XGBoost. And if you go on to Kaggle, which is like a machine learning data science website, and they have lots of competitions. And if you look at the winning algorithms over the last 3 or 4 years, the winning algorithm has been XGBoost. So it's kind of an advanced form of doing decision trees. So it's really efficient at creating the algorithms. But when we start looking at machine learning, it's not perfect. It's never going to get every prediction 100% correct. It'll get things wrong. So what the algorithm does, it looks to see is, well, what are the things I'm getting wrong? What are the predictions I'm getting wrong? And can I actually work out a submodel that will actually predict those? So it's constantly trying to refine all the incorrect predictions it makes so that it can be more accurate overall. So that is a feature that's actually coming in 20C. So if you go on to like Oracle Cloud, you can have a look at the preview for 20C. You can spin that up really quickly, and you can go and use it. And one of the things that I've put together on my blog is that for all of the new machine learning features in 19C, and some of them are there in 18C as well, and 20C, I have a series of blog posts available, which goes through all the different examples that I go through in the presentation that I did on Tuesday. So you can go and kind of take that and being able to use it. So maybe you'll be able to share the link to that blog post. Sure. And be able to do it. So.
Yeah, you send it to me and I'll make sure it gets featured here in this video. If there is one factor, one takeaway that you want the people who saw your presentation to remember, what would that be?
It's kind of going back to what I said at the beginning. It's kind of, if we use the KISS phrase, keep it simple. Stupid is just, sometimes machine learning can be made into a very complex, very difficult thing to know and understand. But if you keep it simple, try and understand the high level concepts of what kind of goes in, what kind of comes out. Okay, what happens in the middle can be a little bit of a black box. And if you keep that of approach, is that then you're keeping it simple. A lot of the coding you have to do becomes quite repetitive. So, makes it kind of boring. And what you're doing is you're concentrating on delivering business value.
You have been an Oracle ACE director, which is Oracle ACE program has been around since, I think, the late 90s, I believe. You've been an ACE director for quite some time, for several years. More recently, you also earned status as an Oracle Groundbreaker Ambassador. What do you get out of your participation in these community advocacy programs?
So one of the things I love about it is that you get to know lots of different people. So like when you're presenting at conferences or at different events, you get to talk to lots of different people. You get to learn from their experiences. And then, for some of the non-Oracle conferences that I present at, like some of the Python and some of the data science type conferences, is that you get to see the crossover, how the different technologies can kind of connect in and being able to work better together. So that's kind of one of the things that I really love and kind of like about that. So you're constantly learning. The other thing that has been real benefit is being able to have the connections within the product management teams within Oracle. So, kind of over the years, it takes a little bit of time to kind of to build up those connections and trust. Is that within some of those teams, like if I have a problem or certain issue, is that I get talking to not necessarily the product manager, but I get talking to the developers behind the product and to their managers, and being able to kind of discuss about how they are approaching certain problems. And I'm sure they have lots of oh no, Brendan is getting in contact again. It's like you maybe discovered a certain quirk or certain feature on it, and then you start seeing some of those coming through in later releases, which is kind of interesting and quite nice to see. So you get to have a slight input. It's just a slight input to some of those future directions.
What's on your calendar coming up in the next several months? Are you participating in any other webinars, webcasts, events such as Yatra?
Yeah, so in a couple of weeks' time, we have the European Python Conference. So that's an online one. It was supposed to be in Dublin, so kind of just down the road from me. So that would have been quite nice. But that's going to be online. So I have a couple of presentations on it. One of those presentations is about SQL and how to run SQL efficiently from Python. So being able to work with that. So being able to work at do more in the database, but also know how to work with your different libraries that connect into the database. So to make those kind of more efficient. And kind of the second presentation is going to be on ethics. So data ethics, for machine learning and data science.
Sure.
So I have those coming up. And then there's also the European conference on the Open Data Science Conference, so ODSC. That's coming up in September. So again, I'm presenting at it as well.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, Brendan, thank you so much for your time this morning. It's good to hear from you and good to see you're staying busy despite the current situation. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay in touch.
Thank you, Bob.